Hey everybody, if you're interested in closing bigger opportunities and working less and making a lot more money without being sleazy or weird salesy sales tactics, well, I'm excited to share with you Reed Corliss, a student in our program who did exactly that, who went from earning about $120K to over $250,000 in less than a year. Keep watching and enjoy. All right, what's going on, everybody? Marcus Chan here. Hey, I am super pumped. I got my guy Reed Corliss here, who's been absolutely freaking crushing it. Reed, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Reed Corliss. Like he said, I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I love Florida, best state in the U.S. I work for one of the best companies in the U.S., spot on financial technology, bringing next level technology to small businesses, medium-sized businesses, stadiums. And I started as a sales rep, and now I work my way up to being a team lead. Next step, area sales manager. Next step, VP. No, but seriously, just having a great time, man. Killing numbers, loving the content from Marcus Chan, man, and just teaching it to my reps and consuming more of it all the time. So yeah,
I love it, man. I love it. And there's gonna be a lot of energy on this video, if you couldn't tell, if you already watched this later on. But I'm excited, man. So for you, what I love about you is when we talked, you were already doing really well. You were already crushing it. So for you, why'd you choose to join our program to begin with? Because since you're already doing so well.
Yeah, so I was using the Challenger sale. I was using Way of the Wolf. I was using Fanatical Prospecting, and I was already kicking butt. Like you said, I was a top rep. But what it came down to was I noticed I was having a lot of deals, not as much ARR as I wanted, right? I was getting snubbed by large clientele that were considering me green. And I didn't know why they would consider me green and why they wouldn't give me the time of day. I was having to consistently work 60, 70, occasionally, 60, 70 hour weeks. And I was observing that there were people that had higher average revenue per deal. And I didn't know how to get to that point, but I knew I needed to in order to not only make more for myself, but have a better work-life balance. And so after some research, because I had been looking for a program just like your program, I decided I jumped into your free video. 90% of the content's free, jumped into the free video, used it, right? And I noticed that it helped me sign a big deal very quickly, right? And so at that point I said, just based on that, this is worth the investment, right? So I invested, and then let's say not maybe 1-2 months later, I closed the biggest deal in my career that paid for the course. I mean, tenfold, right? And so that's really what made me do it. And the results that were promised, I received, right? I work less, I make more money, I close just about as many deals as I want. I feel great doing it, and I actually am able to teach my process to reps better than I could before. The process that I had before, it worked for me, but it was hard to teach others. The process that I have now, it works for me, and it's very simple to teach. So,
Dude, I love that, right? It's one of those things where, when I talk to a lot of great salespeople like yourself who had already been crushing it on their own, a lot of times, you almost don't know what makes you great. You're like, I just work my tail off and I just do these things and just results happen. So, for you, when you kind of reflect back, obviously you close that, within a month or two, you close the biggest deal in your career that you got this crazy ROI on. As a result of implementing the program, what were some of your proudest outcomes across the board?
Yeah, so I would say the number one is how good I feel, right? So one of the biggest things for me was being able to close deals and really, really feel really good about it, right? And there's something about this sort of, I know you called it the reverse sales accelerated method, asking the questions right backwards, right, that lead to your solution. But it's that process that actually helped me to be more human in my sales process, that helped me to realize what each sale really boiled down to. And it's the humanity of a connection, a relationship, right, where we are solving a problem. And in some cases, helping people discover a problem they didn't know they had. But that sort of mutual connection that maybe made me feel good was probably, it's my number one most treasured piece out of everything that I learned. Really just the ability to feel really good and wholesome about everything, right? Number two, I would say, is the ability to be able to share that with others, right? So it's great to feel it myself. It's even better to help others have more effortless success, right? That's my second most valued piece. Being able to teach other people who, let's say they've struggled, let's say they've been doing it for a year, or they've been doing it for 2 years, and spending, let's say, a couple weeks with them, and then immediately seeing a peak in their results very quickly after that, right? That is something I hold near and dear, because it goes to show that if you're willing to look for a better way, because you realize that the way you have, even if it's working, something about it feels wrong, then you're going to find that better way, right? And so, I found it. I enjoyed it. Second thing, I help others enjoy it, right? And then thirdly, I would say it just changes the way that you look at business, right? It makes business feel like a very human experience instead of feeling like something unnatural. So, so I guess my third point and my first point are very similar, but as you can tell, I'm big into how it makes me feel, right? And how it makes others feel, and so, yeah, I would say those are the three things I'm most proud of.
Dude, I love that. I love it so much because, like the results you've told me have been insane. Like just like the deals you've closed. I think you finished like top 2 or 3 out of like 600 plus reps. You're getting all this recognition, and you're like, that's all cool and great. Making more money, that's all cool. But it's like you're like, I feel good, and
yeah,
to me, that's like the ultimate achievement. It's like you feel good, you can impact others, you enjoy what you do, you don't have to be sleazy or salesy or all weird,
right?
And you could just love it and just transfer those skills. I freaking love that. So, for you, what do you think, you might be right now if you hadn't, joined our program and taken action?
Where do I think I'd be? I think I realistically, this is going to be crazy, right? I'm going to say something that's going to blow your mind. I don't know that I'd still be selling really, because I was a great salesman, great in terms of the numbers on paper, but I didn't enjoy the feeling, right, of selling. And so for me, and I say this every single day, everyone that knows me knows that I'm big into the feeling. How does it make you feel? How does it make the customer feel, right? And am I having fun, right? And if I'm not having fun, it's very difficult for me on a day-to-day basis. So I would either be doing the same 60 to 80-hour work week every single work week, right? Without incredible results, without a teachable process, right? Grinding myself down to a nub and potentially losing myself in the process, right? Or I just wouldn't be selling anymore, right? So, now all that to be said, I think that it's at the same time, I also had a relentless desire to figure out a way, right? Which is why I went looking for it. So do I think that it was a possibility that I ended up not selling? I don't think that that's a real possibility, right? I think that I was going to figure it out, which is why I found your program, right? So regardless, it was going to work out because I was looking for it. But hypothetical situation, who knows, right? Either it was going to be rough, painful for a long time to come, or I would have had to find something else. So
yeah, man. No, I appreciate sharing that. I mean, I think it's a very real thing, right? I think a lot of us, when we get into sales, we get kind of forced into like, we got to grind, hustle. And it can do it for a little while, but you never really feel good. And it's like, it just leads to like burnout city. You don't feel good. You feel like you're still selling your soul. And it's like, and you're smart, very, very capable guy. You eventually would have figured it out for how long, right? How long would it take you to get to that point? So,
for sure. I don't think I would have figured it out. I don't know that I would have figured it out, right? The only way I was going to figure it out is by finding someone else who figured it out, right? Yeah. That's what I mean by that. I don't mean that if I had sticked out, I would have figured it out. But what I mean is I needed to find it. I needed to find another person that could kind of show me how to do it, because I wasn't really headed in the right direction. I mean, like I said, I was just using the challenger sale and things like that. Great methods that I use today, right? But I think that I was just approaching it wrong, So yeah. But hey, you learn lessons. I was 20, 23 and 24 at the time, right? And 25 now. So, I'm glad to have purchased the program.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. So, if there's someone, on the fence that was sometimes going to watch, join this program, what would you tell someone like that?
I would say simply one of the things I one of the things I even learned in your program, work it backwards, right? If you think it's potentially worth the investment, just calculate how much, what kind of a deal would I need to close in order to be able to pay for this program? Because it's not going to hurt you, right? The program can't hurt you, right? So just ask yourself the question, if you're really in this for the long haul, what's it going to take, right? To be able to earn this, to be able to make sure that not only are you enjoying yourself, helping others enjoy themselves as they're growing and as they're enjoying their career in business, right? But also, that you're just willing to invest in that long-term, that you're willing to invest in a long-term result, right? Not only for the betterment of yourself, but for the betterment of everyone else, right? Because not everyone has this process. Not everyone has it. You have to be able to share it with people, so ask yourself what it's worth to you, right? Is it worth that investment in order to be able to help other people kind of feel what you feel, right? To be able to help others, to be able to help your sales reps, to be able to help the customer have an actual cordial courting process, right? That actually puts them first, right? I think once you identify that number, then you just calculate what it's going to take you to earn the money to be able to make it happen. But, in my opinion, it's worth it 100% of the way. You just have to just work the numbers back. That's it. So, but yeah.
Spoken like a top professional, right? I'm always the same way. I'm like, if we want to go on a vacation, we want to do something, we just work the numbers backwards. How many opportunities we got to close to get to what we want to get? So I love that, man.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to share?
You know what, man? I would just say the biggest thing I learned is always invest in yourself, right? And do it in the right areas. Vet people's backgrounds, figure out whether they're worth your investment. And that's the reason why I was willing to invest the money I invested. I looked at your background. I tested out the free material that you provided, which showed that you weren't there to pull my chain, right? Right. And once I did that, I realized it was 100% worth it, so invest in yourself. If you're not here to do this for a year, if you're here to do this for a career, you really have to work hard to talk yourself out of it in order to, kind of not take the leap. So
awesome, brother. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for being on, my man. Congrats to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So if you enjoyed this interview with Reed and you yourself are interested in over doubling your results, selling authentically and actually just loving to sell while also being able to get promoted, rank in the top 1% out of hundreds of reps, and just be the absolute best version of yourself, go ahead, click the button somewhere on this page to book a time on our team to see if we can help you do the exact same as well. Thank you so much for watching.